Nice to see you again.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Nice to see you again.
Absolutely. Have a seat.
Thank you.
Just curious, hope you weren't waiting long, and my assistant, Mr. Levine, offered some coffee for you guys?
Oh, of course, great service.
Good.
Great
He's
conversation
he's
as well.
a good guy, good guy.
Definitely. So, I wish our time today was under better circumstances.
Yeah. Sleepless night, man, sleepless night. Really, that letter and email threw me yesterday, and so hopefully you got some good news for me.
Definitely. So, how has that conversation been with your current agent so far? I know they've been a little bit lackluster. So.
MIA.
Wow.
Being honest with you guys, MIA, text messages, phone calls. I don't want to get my father-in-law involved because I know they're high school chums and all, but it's really disappointing, and that I'm not getting any response. Especially because I know he got the letter too,
Right.
and so I get the letter, then I get an email, and then I get a phone call from the contractor saying IQL is to blame for all this. So trust me, it was a sleepless night in my house last night.
Yeah, I mean, that's unfortunate to hear. We got the call, didn't want to hear it, but at the same time, we're here to offer you our solutions. We're ready to take this challenge and move forward, do the best we can to help you in this situation.
That's good to hear.
So like Holden said, we're going to be with you every step of the way. Actually, a few of our clients have had similar situations where, figuring out who's at fault has been a little bit confusing. So, rest assured, our claims team and the service team at All American is going to be with you every step of the way. Okay, Brett?
That's good to hear.
Okay, so just moving forward, with our call and our conversation, we talked about, some of the things we wanted to accomplish in the meeting today. So you mentioned how you wanted us to help navigate with you through this process due to, not having too much support from your current agency side. And, another thing you were concerned about is, if IQL is found liable, how does that impact your coverages? And how does your coverage play out? And then the last thing we want to talk about is, going forward, with this claim, how does that impact our relationship with one another and our ability to reach out to the markets? So, with that, have you received any new information about the claim or any new concerns?
No, not about the claim. No. I mean, right now it's the letter, the email, the phone call. It's all I got on the claim.
Okay, perfect. And in our prior meeting, we established that, if everything went well, we try to move forward with a relationship with one another. Now, with this claim, are you still looking to move forward with another agency due to your current agency?
Oh, absolutely. That's why you guys are here.
Figured we'd be on that same page. I just wanted to reiterate that. So we met with our legal and claims team and figured out, there's 3 real ways that this claim can play out, and that's largely dependent on the claims investigation. So Holden's going to go over how those investigations can go and how your coverage will play out.
Okay.
Yeah, so like Jamal said, there's really 3 outcomes that are possible. First outcome, best case scenario, would be that lightning was the proximate cause of loss. If lightning is the proximate cause of loss, that would fall under the convenience store, gas stations, commercial property policy or business owner policy. Lightning is covered on all policies. You can make the argument that's the most basic peril causable loss in all of insurance. Again, you had no liability. If,
So I'd be off the hook?
if it's lightning,
Okay.
off the hook. That's an act of God. If that's what is found to be the cause of the accident, that's perfect case scenario.
Okay.
Convenience stores, insurance, take care of it. Second case, gets a little bit more gray. This would be the case that something you manufactured is the object or the faulty product that caused the accident. This would be covered under your commercial general liability policy as a product of completed operations. An example of a product in completed operations would be Hershey produces a chocolate bar from chocolate bars, and something goes wrong with their ingredients. Some people eat it, they get sick, and then there's a lawsuit filed. So the bar was completed, the product, it was shipped out, it was to the market, and then there's a loss. Again, it's covered under the CGL. I don't know exactly what your limits are on your policy, but the most basic limits is a $1 million per occurrence with a $2 million aggregate for the year. Again, this is one occurrence, so the aggregate is going to be out of play. If it's under $1 million, the insurance carrier is going to pay for it. And you go off the hook. Premiums are more than likely going to increase in the future years, but it's not catastrophic to you. If it goes over the $1 million, assuming you have that basic limit, that is when it's going to be coming out of pocket. We don't want to see that. We don't want to keep you up at night, but that is a possibility. More than likely, you do have an umbrella policy. An umbrella policy is rather self-explanatory. It covers you. You hold the umbrella, covers you from the rain.
Like the travelers?
Yes, exactly. They use it. So the initial policy of, say, 1 million would cover it. And then you would have an umbrella policy of $5 million. So in that case, having the umbrella, if the monetary damage is less than 5 million and you're responsible, and yet insurance pays for it, premium the next year. Say your umbrella is insufficient, it's over a $5 million loss, which we hate to see, then again, it is starting to come out of your pocket. Again, investigation needs to be done. Again, worst case scenario, best case scenarios. And then lastly, third case scenario, this is where the litigation fears kind of start to come in. And this is that the subcontractor did faulty work. Maybe they clipped the wrong wire, anything of that nature, and that caused the fire. So it is very similar to them being properly insured. If that's an established subcontractor, they have a good insurance agent, then more than likely they have the proper limits in place. They'll be responsible for the per occurrence and then also the umbrella policy. But then if you're working with a subcontractor that doesn't have an umbrella policy or inadequate limits, then since you are part of the process, you can be held liable. In that case, you would be held by or insured by the carrier. But again, it could also go over your limits. We really don't know that yet. One of the worst case scenarios would be that the subcontractor you hired was not insured at all, and the agreement was like made on a handshake. There's no formal documents to prove that you're innocent in this case. So really, that's where it could get gray and stuff can come out of your pocket. So the good part is that if it is to go into the judicial court with defenses, there's that limits, and then defenses are added in addition to your policy limits. You have a $1 million limit. That's the cost of the loss. $500,000 is the defense cost. That is included. You don't have to pay for that. It's part of the insurer's duty to defend you in this case. Another thing, we talked about this yesterday, is the hold harmless agreements and additional insured. If you have the proper hold harmless agreements in place with that subcontractor, then they are fully responsible for that cause of loss. If you feel confident you have those papers in, you can start to rest it down a little bit easier. And if you're an additional insured under a contract, there's some gray areas of insurance, but generally you'll be covered by their defense costs. So it won't go against you in calculating premium for next year. So really those are the three scenarios that we have written out. And I'll pass it back to Jamal on being able to show you the services that we can provide to you.
Okay, I was almost going to have more sleepless nights, and then you brought me back in.
Perfect.
So maybe I'll sleep a little bit better, but there's still an uneasiness, right? Whether I'm going to be protected on this claim.
Yes, absolutely.
Definitely. So, as Holman was saying, this is largely going to play out depending on the role of the investigation, which is largely out of our control. So what we want to focus on is how do we help IQL going forward?
Okay.
And what programs can we put in place to make sure that this type of loss doesn't happen again? And that when we do go out to the market for your account, we're going to try to get you the lowest premium possible. Now with that, that's all about the risk management programs that we're able to install to show carriers that we're in the right direction and we're taking the precautions to ensure that this doesn't happen again. So, with that, I want to talk about our relationship moving forward and how this loss can impact it, as well as our strategy for how we can help IQL, go out to market and really build a slot and solidify your account. So, with that, we know IQL is a good company, and we're not going to let a one-off loss distract, us, our ability for a partnership. So, in terms of our strategy, firstly, we got your carrier's Chubb through us asking for your declarations page in our last meeting. And we have great relationships with Chubb. So, with that, we're not exactly able to reach out to them because we're not through a brokerage firm yet. But, if the claims process goes well, we're able to maintain that relationship when we start working. And we also have direct appointment with carriers, so we have to reach out to markets to find the best solutions at the best possible prices. But in terms of risk management, we like to implement some controls that's really focused on that completed products and operations side, because that's where this loss is hitting from. So we really want to solidify that to show carriers that we're taking the proper action. So we like to implement contractor installment checks, and that makes sure your contractors are doing what they're supposed to do and following their procedures. We'd also like to establish contract reviews, and that makes sure you have your hold harmless agreements, which makes sure that you're not taking on any liability that you're not supposed to do within the contract. And then we also like to establish minimum contractor requirements, which means that your contractors have certain qualifications that they need to reach. That way, you're not getting any cookie cutters or anything that leads to losses like this coming out of money from your organization. So, does that sound like something that you'd be interested in?
Does that cost me money? Do I have to pay additional fees?
No.
You guys trying to upsell me?
No, that's part of our service. We do better if you do better. Putting in the loss prevention techniques to mitigate losses in the future, it's gonna save you money, it's gonna save us money, and it allows us to move forward, be progressive, and allow you to grow if you want to.
Okay, I like the sound of that.
Yes, I think it would be a good idea to show him the minimum requirements with contractors.
Definitely. And this is just the perks of working with All-American Insurance Agency. You know, one of the things we have is that in-house claims team as well as risk management, which we talked about in our prior meeting. So here we have our subcontractor minimum requirements. So this is just a draft of what we build for our clients whenever we have, you know, contract reviews. And this is some of the things that we look out for to ensure they have, you know, sound relationship and sound experience. And then another thing we offer our clients is, you know, a claims guide. So this guide, you know, allows our clients to understand what we're going to need from our clients going through a claims process, as well as what the brokerage firm, as well as the carrier is doing on the back end to fight on their behalf. So this just allows our clients to stay on the same page as us. So,
Wow, 10 steps, huh?
10 steps, yeah. So we're really thorough and make sure you understand the process.
Okay.
Go with you every step of the way. So, you know, does that kind of quell your concerns about the potential upcharges? You know, that's not our agency's model.
Yeah, I just, you know, again, I want to be fair, I want to have the right coverage at the reasonable prices, but I also want to make sure the other services you provide are included in what I'm paying you guys.
Definitely.
Okay.
So we know insurance is a relationship business, and we know, you know, your father-in-law had that great relationship with their agent. You know, that's hard to separate from. But, you know, claims like this really emphasize the need for sound risk management, sound claim services, and a sound brokerage firm that you work with. And All-American Insurance Agency provides those type of solutions. So, you know, we like to be with you throughout this claims process every step of the way. You know, we'd like to continue moving forward with our relationship. So how does that sound, Brett?
It's good, but can you guys help me with this claim? You're not my agent right now, so how would that work?
So we have to be your broker of record. That's when we can communicate with the carrier you have. Really, you terminating the policy, canceling the policy with your agent and switching over to us is when we can really get our hands dirty and go and do our investigation work.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, so we understand your concerns, but, you know, us not being your current brokerage firm. So with that, like Colton said, there is limitations. But, you know, from a claim standpoint and from like a business standpoint, we can assist you in every way other than talking to your carrier, because we're not your official, you know, counsel throughout that process. But we're going to be with you every step of the way because we value that relationship. So, you know, does that clear up that concern?
It does. Thanks for doing that.
Perfect. So, you know, are you able to move forward with our organization and the partnership?
Well, you know, again, even though how disappointed I am with my current agent, family friend, all that good stuff, you know, I'm interviewing 5 different brokers, and I want to give everybody a fair shot to see what they bring to the table, make sure, you know, I'm making the right decision, right? The buck stops with me. I'm the guy. My father-in-law, mother-in-law trust me with the business now, and so yeah, I like what you're saying. I like some of the responses, but I don't know if I'm quite there yet.
Well, perfect. You know, that's no problem with us. We understand, you know, it's in your best interest to make sure you're getting the best service. And hopefully, through our presentations, All-American has shown that we are that for you. So, you know, feel free to reach out within the next day of your solution. And if you want to talk and learn more about what we can do, you know, we're glad to have that conversation. But yeah, feel free to take some time to make your decision.
Yes, yeah, take your time. You know, we like seeing that you're a client that's engaged, wants the best product for him. And, you know, if you're ready to give us a call, and we look forward to talking to you.
Okay. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for coming in short notice, and certainly check with Mr. Levine on the way out if you guys need another cup of coffee.
Cool, I'm already 2 hours.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Are you done? All right.